Hey everybody, how's it going? No, I'm just trying to do Marlon Brando. Anyway, so there we are. So, hey, it's happening. It's once again a week. We got it right here, and it's the off night. And we're doing quite a few things here. We're doing technical stuff. We're doing kind of weird sort of philosophical stuff. And we're going to talk about everything. But we're going to talk about what happened this week. Big news happened this week. So, but the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to bring in, I believe, we like to call him Jason Grant. And that's the guy we're going to talk to.
Hey,
right now. Jason Grant.
Andy.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, I'm here. You're there.
I'm here. So we're basically having a technical situation taking place.
Right now, Matt is in a Jeffries tube.
That's right.
Working with
He's
diligent.
Working hard. The sweat
is rolling off with really great 1968 graphics and special effects with the little magnetic little electronic things while he's reversing polarity in the Jeffries tube to try and get the iPad to work.
And if he can get it done, the oxygen is running out somewhat, but he has some ability to be able to make the oxygen survive a little bit more.
If not, we will have Bones. Dr. McCoy will be waiting with a triox compound.
Exactly.
To boost up, because we know that the oxygen in the captain's environment suit is running out during the interface.
It is. It's going like Spock.
Yeah. Again, but when the Tholians entered the space, the interface was that they'd rather precisely calculated. Oh yeah. Hey, listen, you try sitting still when Tholian spacecraft enter your space. You let me know how that works out for you.
I know. But we know they're in a vortex right now. They cannot move. They're going to be getting out of there hopefully soon with the technology that we know.
Right, exactly.
And these are two seniors working on the technology, okay?
Right.
That's what we're working on. So they could be down there forever.
If there are any of our millennial friends, we invite you to come here and laugh at us. It's not the first time, not the last.
We have sent in a rotary phone just to make sure they can actually call out and talk to us. Okay?
Right. In fact, we have Sam on a rotary phone trying to log in to the website because really that's the way this is being done.
I know.
In a manner and method that makes Dr. Frankenstein's lab look advanced and forward.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
Yeah. Now I know what it's like to be God. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, great, but can you get the dial-up modem to work there? Okay, Grandpa, can you do that for us? You think you can do that, Sugar?
No.
Do you think
there's no like. We've been at this for I'm not gonna say what. 2 years. It's like two years we've been trying to get this stuff to work, Well, I'm not saying that senior happens. I'm not saying that, I myself have turned 62, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I myself have gone through a whole traumatic experience of now there is no going back. I am a senior citizen. I can collect Social Security, okay? And I go it's two problems. One is I like the free money, but the second problem is you can only spend it on the senior slam over at Denny's. That's all they can spend it on.
That's true.
So it's a bit problem.
We no longer have the Metro Times, which for those of us not from the Ann Arbor, Washtenaw County, Southern Michigan region, don't remember, was a wonderful print publication which featured alternative takes on various aspects of what's going on in the culture today, from both news as well as entertainment, but also had really hot CD ads way in the back for all kinds of escort
services. Hi, everybody.
Sam! Hey!
Sam!
It's Sam!
Hold on.
Clear as a bell, Sam!
Wow! Hold on, my safety belt's on.
He looks like he's 14. My God!
Wow. Oh, he is? Well, hold on, let me take off my pants.
Look at that. He's got a complexion. He looks like he's tanned.
Ready?
Oh my God,
It's not a tan. I go for a walk every day, about 8,000 to 10,000 steps, and it was very sunny out here. So,
I see. Nice.
Fame is a fleeting thing. I was talking to my cab driver, Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
I said,
he and Don Lemon.
Yes. I'm going to tell you something. The one that surprised me, if I may, the one that surprised me more than anyone was Lou Dobbs getting dumped.
Oh wow,
Lou Dobbs got dumped too.
Wow.
Yeah, they kept that very hush hush. And the reason you didn't know about it is because he's on the Fox Business Channel.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know about them, but if one more person comes on this thing we're on, then that would be their audience size. I mean, their numbers are scratch.
Well,
nothing.
I mean, did you see that Don Lemon also lit up the airwaves today? Lit up the Twitter today because he'd been canned at CNN.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting. You know.
Say that again.
Well, I find it interesting. Don Lemon got
Don
busted.
Lemon.
Yeah, got busted at CNN.
Well, I'll tell you
today.
what. Let me tell you what I heard. I love this because I've actually done talk TV and radio with these guys, so I actually know them.
Right.
Lemon said, and I quote, "I'm stunned."
Right.
CNN said, and you know who the hell knows who's telling the truth, but CNN said we had called Don Lemon and had arranged for a meeting to discuss his show, which didn't sound like he was getting fired. They didn't say his future with the show. And then what does Don Lemon do? He puts out a tweet saying he got fired. We didn't tell him he was fired.
Oh no! Oh no!
We never said he was fired.
Oh no! Well, he's saying he's fired.
But his fate was sealed. It's funny coming from a left winger, but you know, too many sexist remarks, too many homophobic remarks. Way too many.
Hey, fella, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to get Susan in here for her poem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I briefly want to bring. Hi. Lisa's going to join us again this week. She was with us a few weeks ago, and I want to bring her right now. Lisa, just we didn't see you before we started the show, and I want to get a mic check from Lisa, make sure we can hear her and everything.
Are you flying a 747 right now? Is that what's going on there?
What? No.
You got the headset on. You got the thing. I thought you'd be flying a plane or something.
Now somebody has a broadcast of something in the background. Is there any way you can turn that off?
That's me, and I apologize.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do now.
Everybody else.
We're going to.
You'll screw it up if you try.
This is like watching The Outer Limits.
We're going to do what we always do. We're going to have Susan read her poem, and then we'll come back to everyone else.
Crystal clarity, you know. It's just like, you know.
He closes everyone, but maybe I want to talk to everybody.
What about our needs?
All right.
Mark, you haven't satisfied anybody here. Oh, come on, you know.
We're gonna have to get Mark some fentanyl and vodka.
All right. Listen to me very carefully, everybody. Listen to me very carefully. Yeah. Everybody's going off the screen except for Susan, but everyone will be able to be heard. And she will be able to hear you. Does that make everybody
And we can
happy?
make faces at it.
Yeah,
thank you.
I don't think you need to take everyone off the screen. Go ahead, but what happens usually is he
Shall we? We should show proper reverence for the chanteuse of the office.
I'm the one who's not on the screen now.
Yeah.
Slide over.
Mark in a frozen thing.
I did slide over. I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
but I
Mark
can't see
took
you
everybody
at all.
down. Yeah, I can't see me either. Well, that's what Mark wanted, probably.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. Go right
it's
ahead.
frozen. I asked him not to touch it. There, everybody's popping back up. It's just doing it by itself. There I am.
Hey, there you are.
This is just like my Omegle chat room.
All right. Excellent.
All right, here's the current event. This is what happened this week from the news. Ralph Yarl was shot in the head for being on the wrong block to pick up his bros. Kaylin Gillis was shot and killed when the wrong driveway she fatefully chose. Rival generals are battling for control of Sudan. Advice to Americans: shelter in place and get out when you can. Fake police in Manhattan were harassing dissidents of China. The FBI made arrests, criminal charges. They won't just fine you. Fox News settled the Dominion voting case. SpaceX rocket blew up on its way to outer space. India's population is growing, according to a report from the UN. China still has more people, but it's not a race you want to win. The Writers Guild of America has authorized a walkout in May. And Netflix will no longer send out films in the U.S. mail, they say. And Mark picked those headlines, and I wrote you a poem.
Yay! Thank you.
Here you go, Mark. Come on back in.
All right.
And you guys
There we
accused
go.
me of being a little grim. You starting out with that guy's being shot in the head. My goodness.
That rocket was a
16.
was what's his name's, right?
Elon's. It was Elon's. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was built an awful lot like the Russian F1. So yeah, bound to fail.
It was actually kind of like Twitter.
Yeah.
No, Twitter
That was
works
the name
to
of-
some
that was the
degree.
name of the rocket, the Twitter sitter. You know, it's really,
To defend them, I guess, if I wanted to,
Yes.
it was their first launch, and a lot of rockets blow up on their first, second, or third launches. It's not. This is a brand new rocket, largest rocket ever.
Yeah.
So I'll give them a pass. I'll give them a pass on their first try.
Screw him. Take him to the cleaners.
Hey, you know what? You got.
I have no pity for billionaires who make people work extra long hours.
That's right.
I would say,
I'll
well,
be
let's
working
let them blow it up. Let's let them blow them up until they get passengers on it. Once you get passengers on it, maybe you don't want them blowing up so much.
Oh no, I would have booked passage while they're still blowing up. Thank you very much. So.
Exactly.
it's the way to go.
You get your. That's right.
so
hey,
this is
Lisa
what it
asked
looks
me
like from
about getting on the
Challenger.
show. Yeah, Lisa asked me about getting on the show tonight.
Yeah.
And she's pretty confident that she can hold her own because
there's no doubt about that. Absolutely no
yeah,
doubt.
I'm very confident too. Based on the fact that
nasty man, we are not. We are very helpful.
No, it's just that everybody's on there. Everybody, it's a free for all here.
We do.
It's a snake pit.
And I'm confident based on the fact that she got on stage for the first time.
If those are
February.
the snakes, the worms are in Jason's head, you know.
Shut up, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'll put
Let
on
Mark.
Oh, anyway, she got on stage for the first time in February, and now she's one of our top performers on the live stage. So
because she's
I'm
good at what she
confident she can
does.
hold her own here in our little chat fest.
Gee, what's
and
that
we
like?
need the diversity. We need the diversity. She's, we don't have.
In other words, yes,
we got all these
person.
elderly white males. We have a young female now, so that's kind of nice.
Excuse me? Oh yeah, that's me.
Why aren't you chiding Jason for his interrupting Mark? Okay.
He just does that.
Because because Andy, I love you, but you're relentless.
Oh, I am?
Yeah, because somebody says, all right, Andy
you?
just took a breath. I'm going to talk
from
now.
you?
No, screw that.
All right.
All right. So anyway, I missed all the discussion on Tucker Carlson. So did you guys cover that?
No.
Yes.
Because it didn't make the poem because we didn't get the Tucker Carlson news until after she wrote the poem. So
I don't know if you
he
know
wasn't
this.
going to redo it.
I don't know if you know this, but there's two things I know for absolutely sure. Number one, the order to fire him came from Murdoch directly.
Yeah,
I heard that. Yep.
That's number one. Number two, having had this happen to me, let me tell you something. People were saying, well, maybe he left on his own because they do that bullshit about mutually, Here's how you know you got fired. When you're not allowed to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Show ended.
Yeah, CNN made a big deal about showing his final send off on Friday night to show that he had no intention.
They don't do that. If you know what that's like? That's like telling a waiter, we're going to fire you. Now go out and serve my customers. Right. No.
Right.
You don't do that.
Right.
But by the same token, I mean, in the radio business, because it's happened in Detroit several times where they fire the entire on-air staff. They literally just pull the plug on these people. They show up for their shift and it's like, you're not going on today.
You know who that happened to was Joy Behar at WABC. She finished her shift and she went back to her office and all her stuff was in boxes outside the office. How's that for a hint?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've done that back when I was a limousine driver. We had to drive some executives from a meeting. We had to pick them up and take them directly to their house with a security person in the vehicle with them. And when they left, they had to turn over at that time a company cell phone. And to show you how long ago this was, remember we used to have those little precursors of what was it? The little pocket computer thing, where your date book was in it and all that. we're going back like 2005, the before times, you know, for
you talk about the BlackBerry. The BlackBerry?
Yes. They had a BlackBerry and all that stuff, and exactly, it's like and the security guard had to sequester all that. I was not allowed to speak, to say anything. All I could do was pick them up and drop them off, and this was corporate America at its finest.
When I got fired in Las Vegas, I got fired the same day as another guy, co-host, not a co-host of mine, a guy named Dominic Brascia. And this to me is hysterical. I got fired and I said, all right. And as you know, as you may or may not know, when you get fired, they have like 3 people in the room. So they're witnesses. Oh yeah, absolutely.
In Vegas, I didn't think they wanted
because
witnesses.
You can't say, if you let me, blow you,
right.
That kind of thing.
That's always been my go-to play, actually.
Exactly.
It's like I listen, I know I don't look it, but I give fantastic head.
I never knew I had the option.
They never worked with me. So anyway, so the guy, so Dominic Brascia, when he got fired.
Sam, chapstick, okay? I'm just going to say chapstick.
They always say that, but when then you smile, you lip burst. But anyway, so Dominic gets fired. He was such an innocent kid. He goes like this. He goes, we're letting you go. You're no longer working here. And he says, does this mean I can't go to the Christmas party? And I just thought, and he wasn't being sarcastic. I thought that was the sweetest thing. No, you can't. And here's the thing he didn't understand. Once you get fired on radio, if you go back into that studio, not the studio, but the station to say hi to people, the upper guys just shit themselves. What are you doing here? How come you're here?
Yeah.
Why are you here? You don't work here. Get out.
You don't get anywhere near a microphone ever again. Or their microphone. I
remember at CBS, a friend of mine got fired. You'll love this. They hid his. They set you up with a computer. They hid his computer so that because they made an effort to charge him for stealing it.
Oh, well, I hid my computer because the FBI were in the knocking down the front door, but that was different.
That is different.
Yeah. Have
you ever been fired, Lisa?
No, honestly. I'm fortunate for that.
Well, that's a bummer.
I know.
Well, that's why I said we need diversity. She's too young to have been fired. It'll come. Don't worry.
Yeah, it'll happen. I know.
Bitterness is just around the corner, LG.
Yeah, I know. We'll get there.
That's
we'll get there.
Hey, is Mark serious? You hadn't been on stage before February, is that correct? Or
in terms of comedy, yes.
Yeah. Well, but to say, I've seen you a couple of times, and what I've appreciated, and I'm not trying to be overly solicitous, but when you're up there, you seem to have just a ton of confidence, and it really kind of comes out into this. You know what I'm saying? You've seen performers. You know what I mean. It just looks like you're very comfortable up there when you're doing it. So, it's just that much more impressive. I really hope you keep pursuing this because you're good, and we need people to be funny. These are kind of grim times. I mean, when Susan's starting off her poem, and I'm not getting down on Susan, but it did start out with 2 people being shot and killed for
you know what? I gave her the headline. I gave her the headline. She just rhymed them.
Oh, Mr. Chuckles over there. Yeah.
Mr. Chuckles. Yeah.
Starts a comedy show off like people being shot and killed for being in slightly wrong places.
Yeah. The tour. I tried to stop the presses.
Yeah, I tried to stop the presses when I heard Tucker Carlson got fired. Don Lemon got fired today too.
Yeah, but I pointed that out. To me,
and Dan Bongino got fired.
Dan Bongino was fired a couple of days ago.
Do you know why he got fired? Because God heard my prayer. I have never seen. There is no one in the history of Fox News. Obviously, this isn't because he's right wing that I'm saying this, because they're all right wing. There is no one in the history of Fox News less qualified to be on the air than Dan Bongino.
I don't know. Laura Ingraham comes close.
At least
Laura Ingram's been doing. At least when she does it, she knows how to read a cue card.
Well, she did radio, and and she was funny when Lee Habib was her producer. The show was actually kind of funny.
And when he left, it got very mean.
Exactly, precisely, absolutely, perfect. Yeah, because that was exactly what it was. All of a sudden, her fangs or whatever just came out. And it wasn't amusing anymore. It wasn't fun. It was I don't know. I did not like it at all. Oh
She
my
was
God.
she was like a slightly fatter Ann Coulter.
Well, that's not saying much, because let's face it, Ann don't tip the scales into triple digits.
My wife saw Ann Coulter in a ladies' room, and my wife swears to this. She said her thigh was the size of my wife's forearm.
Yeah. I remember the only time I ever met Dick Purton. It was at the men's room at the Michigan Theater. And it was like, this is Dick Purton. He was a big radio guy here in Detroit for many, many years. So I know I'm bringing up someone with absolutely no sort of cachet at this point in time. But he was he was like the top paid broadcaster in the Detroit area.
I got you.
And
who are we talking about?
Dick Purton. You remember?
Oh, yeah, I used to write for him.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. And I met him. The only time I met him, he was at the urinal at the Michigan Theater. And I thought, well, this is an inappropriate time to ask for a handshake. I said that to him. He just laughed and kind of nodded and moved on. His daughter was in at that time, she was in some sort of an improv group that was performing that night. So
yeah, she was in the comedy sports troupe that was, it was actually the Second City Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they actually had a branch of that opening up back in the early 90s.
Yep.
That room just is telling someone about that. Yeah, I was just telling something about that. Like, yeah, there used to be a Second City Detroit, and like that's where like Keegan Michael Key, really got started. And it's just like just saying that, it's just like, oh wow, that was a while ago then. But that
the room that they used is now the Detroit House of Comedy. That's the same room that was the improv. Or not the improv, the Second City. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Tim Pryor was there. They had what else?
Tim Pryor. Wow, haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah. He was was an agency guy, and then all of a sudden he still I think works as a ad man, but he was very big in that thing. Who else was there? There was God, I have the book actually.
Well, Mark, I want to ask you, have you ever heard of Matt McLowry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
I just found out this guy's name. I remember him because he was at the very first time I ever did stand-up.
Okay.
So this has got to be 10 years ago now, and he was the closer guy. This was back when when Brad Wenzel was still doing open mics and was like not the closer guy. And the thing that I did not remember his name from the time. I just remember because he was the first guy after my set. He came up to me and said, "Oh, that was really funny. You did a great job." Now I don't know if he was he wasn't condescending or anything, but it was a really nice thing, and I had no idea who this guy was, and I just found out this weekend. Again, I was just doing some cruising around. It's like, oh my God, that's the guy I met my first time I ever did stand up. And he's like become an opener for a couple of big acts and is a headliner in his own right. And
he headlined, I think he headlined Ridley's Comedy Castle last summer.
Yeah. He sort of does his thing. He's on the autistic spectrum and he's funnier than hell about
Who
it.
isn't?
And
everybody's on the spectrum.
Well, at this point in time, yeah, without question. If not on the spectrum, they're at least on FBI watch list, but that's just me.
I had a girlfriend who was on the speculum. I think that's different.
I think you're correct.
You know, with men, we always complain about the hernia test and the cold hands. I'm wondering, do the ladies worry about the speculum coming out of the freezer, or I've never had the nerve to ask.
It just sucks. It's just awful. It doesn't matter the temperature. It just sucks.
This is one of the reasons why I think women are so much
like, no, it's fine. I went, what is she, nuts?
No, it's just awful. Just
my doctor today told me I have to stop masturbating. And I asked why. He said, well, because I'm examining you. I said, he said, let's let's take it easy.
That's just, although a man of your age still going out there playing, Whack the Wonder Worm, I'm a little impressed. And marginally turned on.
If that isn't the greatest name for a game show ever.
What's that?
Wax the Wonder Worm. Actually, it should be Max the Wonder Worm.
Well,
should
that
be the
too.
name of the creature.
No, creature would be most of the denizens at the gym I work out in, which should also be called the boneyard.
Oh, by the way, you remember when Trump made the remark about grabbing a woman by the,
Yes.
and his rationale was, well, that was just locker room talk. I've been in a lot of locker rooms. Guys come in, they get dressed, they work out, they come back in. If there's a shower and they need it, they shower, and then they get dressed. And no one hangs around and talks like that. No one. I've never,
Not unless you're in the corner with your robe open.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
And a sign saying to let.
Yeah.
Except for no one does that.
The most unbelievable thing about that would be Trump in a public locker room. I'm sure he's in his own private locker room.
Right.
I'm going to tell you something. If I could get a picture of him naked, the sky's the limit on bidding.
Really? Who would want to see that?
Who would want to buy that?
People would be paying you not to show it.
Anybody who's into bears, come on.
But if Stormy Daniels can get whatever, you know what the thing about the Stormy Daniels thing, this is disheartening here, is she actually owes him money. She never got the money from Avenatti in the initial payout.
A stone criminal.
And yes, and she was then sued by the Trump by his private attorneys
and lost.
She's lost, and she now has to pay the legal fees, and she's in debt to this guy 7 figures. And if anyone deserves the money, I mean, it's her.
I think this is one of these things where she did lose, but I think she's going to be in the "don't hold your breath" response. You know, she just won't pay it.
She'll
do what Trump does. I didn't give
Susan the headline to put in her poem, but one of the things that came out, we're all being distracted by the Stormy Daniels case, but down in Georgia, did you hear that the what's her name, Fenzi? Whatever the woman's name, that's the district attorney down there, the state's attorney or whatever. Attorney General. She has asked the judge in the case to dismiss the attorney for 10 of the false electors. Remember, they tried to put the slate of false electors in?
Yes.
And so she asked for, and the reason that is because she found out that these 10 electors that had this woman who was also part of the Trump team back when they tried to run this flim flam, the attorney, and this is something that could get her disbarred, she never gave them the plea offer that the attorney general had given them. And they go,
it will get her disbarred.
We did not know. We did not.
Sanctioned at a minimum.
All 10 of them now will have their own representation that is not part of the Trump team. And they may take these plea bargains, which could be great because then they can turn state's evidence and all that stuff. So.
Well, again, going back to Trump-related dodgy lawyers, and this also ties in with Carlson, because remember, I don't know if you guys watch, but I used to watch. I did watch Carlson in the aftermath of the election was talking to that one attorney, or was demanding. She was the one who was saying she was going to release the Kraken that she had
Sidney Powell.
Yes. Sidney Powell.
And he was saying, listen, you need to, if you have this stuff, then you need to produce it, because he wasn't going along with it was stolen by the Dominion machines, blah, blah. Well, he never said that. He never said it on air. He never said any of those.
What
he never intimated it.
If I had to point to one thing that got him fired, it was that showing that tape as if there was no riot on the 6th. He showed people walking around as tourists.
As well, he should have. That's part of the record, Sam. It is part of it.
I understand that, but that's not what happened. But that's not what
picture.
happened. But 5 cops didn't get killed because you wanted to take a selfie with your daughter.
Now, which cops got killed? Because my understanding is that the one cop died of AIDS.
Sicknick got killed.
He
had
two
others
stroke.
committed suicide.
Sicknick got stroke. And when did the suicides happen? And how can
2
we be
weeks
certain?
later?
Well, again,
if you don't think that was related to that, of course it was related.
I don't know.
What, they were in a bad mood and took the gas pipe? No.
Well, I've been pretty close to that on more than a few occasions.
The funniest thing for me is that all these people were yelling and screaming and hang Mike Pence and Then they go before the judge for sentencing. It's, I didn't mean to do this.
Well,
man, a little late.
Getting back to today's events, it was Mitch McConnell on MSNBC,
Saw
not exactly a right-wing station, celebrating. In the only way it's like if someone says Mitch McConnell is dead, your answer is, well, how can you tell?
How can you tell?
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not exactly a jovial individual. And one of the reasons why I've always enjoyed using him in one of my rants, where Hillary Clinton has him naked and greased and used as her footstool until she kicks him into a chasm so deep he bounces off Dick Cheney's soul.
Wow.
Well, I have a deep. I mean, again, the sort of intellectual or power apparatus of the Republican Party, which I find highly odious. There's nothing about these people that I like. They're warmongers. They are war criminals. There's a reason why Dick Cheney and Bush Jr. do not leave the United States, because there's a pretty good chance they could be arrested and detained, and should be, for the Iraqis that they got killed for no damn good reason, for starting a war we didn't
you remember the story, right?
And this is the Republican Party. This is the warmonger party.
Condoleezza Rice.
That is keeping the industrial complex going. And by the way, the Democrats are in on it too.
By the way, Condoleezza Rice, was the one who gave Bush the memo that Osama bin Laden plans to attack the United States.
Yeah.
And Bush said, "Okay, you got your little opinion in. You covered your ass."
Right.
He didn't act on it. And he didn't act on it because Cheney told him that's bullshit.
We can argue about whether they knew or didn't know. That goes back to FDR. What did he know about Pearl Harbor?
No, I think they knew, but it was such a small thing because, in fairness to them, and you'll never hear me say this again.
I think they got caught with their pants down.
In fairness to them, the idea that someone would fly a plane into the World Trade Center was such a trip of fantasy that it would never happen.
It's a bad movie. It's a bad movie plot. Until
it happened, I would have never. Until it happened, I never would have believed it.
Until it actually happened.
I live here, and when I heard that a plane crashed into the World Trade, the first thing that everyone I know thought was a small private plane flew into the World Trade Center, flying out of Teterboro, which is a local small airport in Jersey. That's what everyone thought. No one had a drip. But then, from my apartment building, I saw the whole thing happen.
Right. I was at Detroit Airport dropping people off. I was driving for a limousine company at the time, and my dispatcher said, "Hold on, something bad has just happened in New York." And I was on NPR at the time, because it was back when NPR was a very reliable source of news, and they started reporting on it. And from there, I just couldn't believe it. I absolutely could not. I don't think Bush knew specifically that there was this kind of an attack. But
I don't either.
The axiom in politics is you don't let a good crisis go to waste. The fact of the matter is that was mainly Saudis and Egyptians, and it was
virtually all Saudis.
And we chose to wind up the war machine and get a lot of people killed who didn't have it coming. And that war machine kept going on. As many times as Bush used drones to kill people, which he did, our president who followed him, Obama, who gets the Peace Prize and then blows up Afghan weddings with the drone strikes. In fact, he used drone strikes more than Bush
why
did.
He blew them up? Shitty caterer.
Well, okay, all right. You got that. All right, you've got.
How much?
You want the ice sculpture? They don't show up with the ice sculpture.
The couscous was rancid.
It was horrible.
Oh well, for that alone, yeah, absolutely.
Dayenu, baby, that's right.
And the goats weren't even cooked when they did the goat grab,
The goat grab.
And unfortunately, this fucking machine does not want to stop. Okay, guess what? We're gonna be launching we're going to be launching a new $13 billion aircraft carrier in a few months. I think about that. $13 billion. The previous one is referred to, and it's the Gerald Ford, is a $13 billion floating barge. The damn thing doesn't work.
It's called USS Gerald Ford.
Yes, that's the.
Did it bump into anything?
Not yet. It hasn't tripped. It hasn't sunk yet by accident.
It's so ironic that he has that reputation, and he was a great football player at Michigan.
Yeah, and that he eschewed a professional career in the NFL to go to Yale Law School, which he graduated from. So I mean, I don't mind, a few little barbs thrown at Jerry Ford. We don't need to worry about him. He's okay.
He didn't either. He didn't care.
He didn't.
You gotta go visit the Gerald R. Ford Museum. It's like about 2 years, but it's an entire three-floor monument to the man's 2 years that he was doing stuff.
What I do care about is this moldering, ashen, corrupt marionette senator from MasterCard who's going to again run for president, and no doubt if they'll put him in there. I love the fact that Robert Kennedy Jr. is in there, even if he is a kook, and he is a kook extraordinaire. He is Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's not bullshitting when you say he's a kook. He is truly not only way out there refuting COVID. Yeah. He doesn't think Sirhan killed his father.
I would rather have Shirley Chisholm from Beyond the Grave channeled with a magic 8-ball. And let's not forget, she was the first Black woman to run for president.
That is correct.
And let's not forget the Democratic Party apparatus did a good job to stamp that bad boy out, and to see that didn't happen. Just like they torpedoed Jesse in '88 to give us the dynamo.
Let me stop for a second. Jesse torpedoed himself
with the Hymietown
remark.
Well, it was an inoperative. It was a bad remark, no doubt. But you got to know that thing was leaked. It didn't come out of his campaign.
Doesn't matter if it was leaked. Doesn't matter if you say that, you got to own it.
Yes, you do.
No. In the Democratic Party,
yes, you do.
The one thing you can't do is say anything approximating Jews. Can't do it.
Yeah,
cannot do it. And by the way, that's not the only time he said something stupid. He was talking about it was Obama. He was talking about Obama. He said,
we're going to go clip his balls.
Kill him. You can't say that.
He said that he was going to go cut his balls off.
That's all.
Yeah.
And the thing about Jesse Jackson, I interviewed him once, and he doesn't do it anymore. But at the time, he was when I say he was all over the map, I don't mean he was talking scatterbrain. I mean, he just flew everywhere. He was like John McCain. You may not know this, but if somebody canceled on my TV show, John McCain was always ready to step in. John McCain always said, I'm here. If you need someone, I'm here. And that was Jesse Jackson. And so Jesse Jackson is sitting next to me, and somebody said, I think he's asleep. I think he fell asleep. And I said, no, he's not. He said, look over at him, and he was out. And it's because he flies so much and doesn't sleep on the plane. And so I went like this. I went, Jesse, I will pick fresh flowers for you.
Oh dear.
But he he screwed himself with that. What my brother said this once, and it's really true. If you're running for office, you can never assume that what you say won't go out there.
You have to assume that it will.
Never assume that. It will always, it
will always get out there.
People are dying to hear you say shit and then leak it. They're waiting for it. So I have no pity for him on that. I just don't.
Well, just with Romney, remember Romney with the one private fundraiser that was recorded by some Dem operative, again, they managed to release, just like Hillary.
Just like his father.
Yeah.
I was brainwashed.
Yeah. Oh my God. Again, Hillary was quoted in some unflattering ways. And at this point, rather than Joe Biden running again, I would rather see Hillary Clinton busted out of, I don't know, whatever crystal box they've got her locked up in out there in Chappaqua.
It's a baccarat.
No, it's time for us to break open the sarcophagus they've got her preserved in and let her loose. Because you know what? If anyone else, and I'm on the other side of the aisle, but if anyone understands the political system and how to make it work, it's Hillary Clinton.
No one better.
She had the best CV going in back in 2016. Her only mistake was letting that fucking moron Podesta run her campaign. Otherwise, we'd be looking at the waning days.
He's the one who told her don't go back to Michigan.
Yeah, a few votes in Michigan, a few votes in Wisconsin. She's the president. Yeah, that's there was a 16,000 votes.
Listen, she's not the only person who I can't remember this guy's name. He used to be a Democrat. He became a Republican. He's a pollster. Mark Penn.
Yeah.
Mark Penn. Mark Penn ran somebody's campaign. And the next words I'm going to say are into the ground. He was awful. Look at that. It's Halloween, and Mark is coming as a brick wall.
Hey, Lisa, what's happening down there?
Down where?
In your corner.
Oh, you're in your corner.
You're on the lower left.
What is
there,
your view of all this stuff? The stuff that's ancient history. What is your view of this? You know?
God, I don't know.
Look, a serious question, and I'm not trying to pin you into anything, but let's face it. The good news is I'll be dead sooner rather than later. This is shit you're going to have to deal with in your generation, your people. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think?
Boy. It's oh my God.
What does a goth girl like you have to say? You know, come on.
It's all fucked up. Everything's so fucked up. It's okay. Overall view of it is like we are on a climate change like road to hell, and we have had the option to say, hey, would you like to not be destroyed by global warming? And all these people, these gas company fucking billionaires are just like, nah, let's destroy the planet. It makes us rich. So thanks, guys. Cool.
Well, I think their attitude is, you know, I'm 60. I won't be here in time for the disaster, so screw it. Yep. Now, you 28-year-olds, tough titty. I really think that's their attitude.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. As a Persian door-to-door guy, that's exactly what the
Well, I think you're all wrong. I think corporations are great, and I think we need to bend the knee to them a little more often. And all of you people are being reported, and this is all being recorded. You're going to be sent to not only the government authorities, but also to various corporate security offices, and you'll be getting visits, starting with you, young lady. How dare you?
This moment with Jason Grant has been brought to you by Exxon. Exxon. If you think we're a gas now, just wait.
From the Zyklon company.
Exactly.
Yes, the Zyklon Spa. When one wishes to visit Arbeit macht's Welt. This is don't expect anything less. Oh God, yeah, that's right. Don't put a tiger in your tank. Put a bear in your back room.
What was the name of that tiger? Was it Tony? No, that Tony Tiger was a Frosty.
No, Tony the Tiger was the diabetes machine for Kellogg.
That's putting it mildly.
Have you seen this thing called Dr. Z?
Dr. Who?
Dr. Z.
Most of the doctors I know of are all indicted for war crimes.
No, it's basically this thing that was done by this the comic. Can't think of his name right now, but he dresses up as Dr. Zaius.
You're kidding.
He does a nighttime show and brings people onto the set. And I'm trying to think who does it, but he's all completely dressed in the old Dr. Zaius outfits.
Who's Dr. Zaius?
It's a comedian. Let me find this comedian.
Dr. Zaius, come on. He's Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
You know, he's the orangutan because, you know, there was always that subtle role play in the whole Planet of the Apes thing, you know, and the orangutans were all like the smart ones who were like in charge of the no, you can't go to the forbidden zone. And they were like,
I've had dates tell me that.
Yeah.
They knew that the humans were there before. He already knew it.
So that's right.
He hid the truth from the public. So
right. And of course, once Charlton Heston figured it out, because we needed the white man stripped
to the waist with a gun. One of the best endings to a movie ever.
They blew it up. They blew you dumb bastards.
You bastards! You blew it all up.
I know.
And amazingly, there was still a line to get in.
Well, if you ever watch or listen to Dana Gould's podcast,
Dana Gould,
he does a breakdown of the most incredible background on the follow-up to Planet of the Apes.
Dana Gould,
yes,
as Dr. Zaius, Dr. Z.
Oh, he does. He's the one who does the Dr. Z.
He's the one who does Dr. Z. And also, there is an article in the Los Angeles, Los Angeles magazine. He does the best places to go in Los Angeles by Dr. Z.
You know, Dana was at a movie screening that I was at, and I was with my wife, and she said, why don't you go up and say hi? I said, you know something? I haven't seen him in 25 years, and I'm not scared, but I'm worried that I'll go up to him and he'll go, I'm sorry, I just don't remember,
Yeah.
and I don't want to go through that shit. She said, he'll remember you. No. I said, all right. If he doesn't, I'm never letting you forget this.
So his security tackled you to the ground and
no, he did. That's what was embarrassing. So I walk up to him. I go, hi, Danny. He goes, Sam, and gives me a big hug. Oh my God. And I couldn't have been more wrong. He was so happy to see me. And I said, there is one person.
Well, his podcast is amazing.
He's amazing.
He is. And he also a big Joe Frank fan. And, everyone knows that I, of course, worship at the dusty boots of Joe Frank.
Sarah Silverman says something that was so funny. You know Joe Franklin, right? He was a New York TV guy, one step short of public access, but he had everyone famous on the planet on his show.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Bill Cosby. And,
yeah.
So she goes, this makes me laugh only because she's talking about Joe Franklin. She goes, life sometimes can be really tough. I don't want to talk about this a lot because it's painful, but I was raped by Joe Franklin. And I'm hysterical. The last human being on the solar system who would do that. And he was pissed when he found out. He was pissed. He didn't think it was funny. And then he says, this is my favorite joke of Sarah Silverman. She goes, I was raped by a doctor, which for a Jewish girl is somewhat bittersweet.
You see, that's the thing about Sarah. She used to be the queen of transgression. There was no, she wasn't crossing a line because for her, there never was a line.
No, she was hopscotching over that line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you were having fun with her while she was doing it. It wasn't mean.
No, not at all.
Although
I was just banned for 2 days on Facebook. And it said for violating community standards. And the first thing I thought was, what community? What is this community?
Did you publish the shirtless pics I sent you?
Just once. But
okay, one's all it takes.
I called them and I said, what was my transgression? And they said, use of a defamatory language. And I said, I've gone over everything I've said for the last 3 weeks. And except for the fact that I said, just one small thing where I said, I hope DeSantis takes a buzzsaw up his ass. You can't hold that against me. Seriously. You're very judgmental. No, I didn't say it, but I have no idea what it was I actually said. I really don't. I'm clueless about it.
Well,
this is Facebook?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's bots. It's all bots, and they're just like, I don't like that word because that's associated with violence, or I don't like you using that word because it sounds like you're saying something about a group of people, and it's just terrible. And we the kids call it getting zucked.
Oh, that's nice. That's very, very nice. Well, a couple of years ago, a few years ago, when I had a radio show in New York, I said that I thought that Dick Cheney should be executed for his war crimes.
Instead of do we give him a free heart?
Exactly. What was that line from All About Eve? I hope you enjoy the award, Eve. Perhaps don't worry about you lacking heart. You could put it where your heart ought to be. But after I said that, I get called immediately into my boss's office, and they said, we just received a complaint from the Secret Service. I said, I'm not running for anything. And she said, no, it's because what you said about Cheney. I said, I didn't say I wanted to kill him. I didn't say he should be assassinated. I said he should be executed for war crimes. Well, we have to do something about that. And I said, are you firing me? They said, no, we're not going to fire you, but we're suspending you for 2 days. You're going to love this, Jason. We're going to suspend you for 2 days with pay. And I said, oh, darn.
Make me not work.
What can I say to get a week off? I mean, you're going to pay me, but I'm not working for 2 days. And by the way, this happened on a Thursday, so I had me a 5-day weekend.
Well, I mean, I love the fact that you could say something about like you got drunk, didn't know how to handle your shotgun, ended up putting a few BBs in your friend's face and made him apologize.
That was my favorite thing. Oh, by the way, that was one of the questions I had on $100,000 pyramid. Not 100. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? What was the name of the guy?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to tell you
Dick
that.
Whittington.
Really? Yeah. But I love the fact that Cheney made him apologize.
Sorry that my face got in the, he literally said this, that my face got in the way. And I went, your face got in the way?
Dick shotgun.
Well, Bill Clinton described that excursion when they went out, to shoot.
Yeah.
He said, because Bill Clinton was raised, shooting, hunting. And he said, that's what we call drunk hunting. He said, you get in a Jeep. Okay. It's 7 a.m. You've already had 3 shots of Crown Royal.
Yep.
All right. And he said the quail that it's a game preserve. The quail that they provide for you to shoot at, and Clinton actually said this. He said they are so old that you have to stomp the ground to get them to fly. That's the truth. And by the way, that buckshot, it's the size of the dot on a letter I in a newspaper.
Yeah.
That's the size of it. But
you don't want to be in the other end of it.
No, you do not.
No, you do not.
Because it's very hot and it hurts.
Yes, hurts like hell. And I honestly think that Cheney had visions of following George Bush Jr. in that job until that little mishap happened. I call me crazy. God knows I've been called worse. And
what happened? I agree with you, except for one thing.
Yeah.
When it was found out.
Yeah.
That when the war against Iraq started.
Right.
Halliburton was at $3 a share.
Right.
And at the end of his term, it was $82 a share.
Yeah.
And that soldiers were getting electrocuted by faulty electric work done by Halliburton. And that was Dick Cheney's. That was Dick Cheney's group.
Sam, now hold on. I'm bracing myself. Are you saying that a member of the administration might have been involved in illicit war profiteering?
Oh, contraire, sir.
I am on a plane right now, sir. I am on your way.
To kick my ass.
You are going. How dare you talk about a patriot like Dick Cheney, who dodged the draft in the 70s,
5 times,
and the 60s,
5 times.
Now, is that the number of times he dodged, or the number of times he got pulled over for drunk driving?
Give or take.
Yeah.
And there was a picture of him when he was a congressman. Speaking of drinking, and on the desk. You remember, this is a picture he's posing for. This wasn't a candid.
What, the Chivas Regal or the severed head of a child?
2 cans of Schlitz.
Yes. Yeah, this was the guy who I will say one good thing about him. He did cancel the Navy stealth fighter program when it was $36 billion. Back when $36 billion was money, when it was $36 billion over budget. So he did cancel that program. Okay, I'll give you that. But other than that, I mean,
do you remember what he looked like at Obama's inauguration?
Didn't he look sort of like he had a soldering iron stuffed up his backside?
He looked like the bad guy in Spy versus Spy.
Yeah.
Lisa, Spy versus Spy was in a magazine. That used to be these things
Mad
that
magazine.
were printed. Yeah.
Antonio Proyas, he was a Cuban refugee.
Yes.
And he did this thing where the spy in white was the good guy, and the spy in black was the bad guy, and the white guy always got the best of the black guy, or as we call it, blockbusting.
Okay. And Lisa, of course, that's mansplaining, right?
Yes, I mean that's
sure.
Man,
well, at least she's not.
I don't even think of it anymore. It's just part of my everyday. It's just whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're going to outlive the rest of us anyways and get to go and drink a fifth and urinate on our graves. So, I mean, it seems like it all adds up. I mean, that's
now I'm going to. You've invited me to.
Don't forget
I didn't want to, but they said, come one, come all, so I'm here.
It was in the will. I had to do it, Your Honor. Okay? Well, it's not public indecency.
You have heard, I've used this in my act before. I don't use it as much as I should. My cousin, she was a hillbilly woman in Ypsilanti, Ipsituckian to the core.
Oh, God.
Four husbands. The last one was an abusive bastard son of a bitch who had the good taste to die of cancer before she did. she kept his ashes in a box, which she kept on the mantelpiece of the fireplace. And I dug the irony there. And in her will, it was written that Bob was in the box there, that he was to be placed in her casket at my feet and between my legs, the only place the bastard ever did me any good. And I lowered his ashes. She was wearing her ruby red over the rainbow slippers, which she wanted. And I put him right there and I said, Bob, till death do you part. Oh, no. She got you right where she went. To this day, he's out there in that cemetery north of Ipsy, right where she wants him.
For all you do, this bud's for you.
Exactly. Well, he fucked up. He pissed off a hillbilly woman. and then
talk about marrying below your station.
Oh, big time. You know, I mean, what can I say? I mean, he was a mean little guy with a big schlong, and there you go. I mean, the woman understood what her priorities were all about.
Has anybody noticed that I haven't zoned out of this?
Yeah,
it's great.
You are crystal clear, man. You are. It's like, as I said, it was like outer limits.
You know what the difference is?
What?
Tell him, Mark. It's using Safari instead of Chrome.
Okay.
Oh, wow, nice.
Are you on your phone or are you on the iPad?
I'm on the iPad.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Looking good. All right.
Yeah, it's crystal clear, man. It's like
and
vertical
the voice.
Horizontal.
Well, we're about to say, Sam, after this, you can go do your OnlyFans chat, and that'll certainly.
It's just I don't like the fact my head looks like a
using Safari instead of Chrome. Well, Safari is the Apple.
Yeah.
Safari is the Apple browser.
Yeah, so exactly.
I would reduce your headroom though.
Well, and I think we all need to take a second and pledge allegiance to Apple and other large corporations, and for the good.
Would you? Is it possible for you to do a horizontal? It just looks better on the screen, rather than a portrait.
Oh, wow.
Please.
It was an outer limits. The horizontal and the vertical.
Don't you have a garden?
Hey,
crystal
you guys,
clear.
Listen, I'm gonna just make myself a little more.
You need a
now
garden.
I don't know how to make, but see, I'm looking off to the left now, and I don't.
There we go. I like that.
Straight ahead. You're looking off over. It's like
look at that. That looks great.
You're looking off over the sea there, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to make it so I'm looking straight ahead.
Oh, because the camera's at the top. I got you.
Yep.
Because you're looking at the camera. That's why.
No.
You see, this is very clumsy.
Yeah.
Just look at the camera.
No, clumsy was when the police tapped on my window the other day. But,
there you go. I'll turn it back. Turn it back to portrait then. That way.
Yes.
Lisa, you should have been here last week, Lisa, when you had the old men trying to teach Sam how to use that all at the same time.
God.
It was like trying to teach a monkey how to fuck a doorknob.
It wasn't that elegant, Sam. I think
everyone loves to shit on millennials until you can't figure out how to use your webcam.
It was classic. It was classic old. It was classic baby boomer cisgendered male clusterfuck.
Testosterone everywhere.
Lisa, my daughter is 24 years
I think
old.
just rewatching that this week, my prostate hardened even more. You know?
Mark,
Lisa,
if you're going to keep talking like that, I'm taking
old.
my pants off, okay?
And if I say to her, honey, could you help me? She goes, no. She says, I don't have enough time to help you. I said, what do you mean? She says, God knows when you'll actually say, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, we should have an emergency number, but just, call a millennial, like, 311 or something like that.
It's extra fun when it's your parent, because then it's just like, oh, you want me to help you, aka Miss, get off that damn computer.
Oh, that'd be a great one.
2 through 18.
Oh dear. Well, you do know, Lisa, that you are artificially aging even faster, being this close to 4 old people all at once.
Yeah, this is like aging by osmosis.
Yeah, you've
that
entered
works through the internet. Oh wow.
Now, Lisa.
I've said a lot of things to young people on the internet, so go ahead, Mark.
Under the what?
Tell me that's music and not just static coming out of the compilation of Grand Funk Railroad.
It's music.
Oh God, who can remember Grand Funk
Mark
Railroad?
Farner.
Don Felder.
And Mel Shackman.
I like the way this. I like the way this music squeezes people up here.
I can't hear any music, but whatever.
That's music. That's music.
I hear
music. It's our bumper music. It's our bumper music for the end of the show. So.
Oh, okay.
Goodbye, folks.
Time to watch the NBA.
All right. Well, we're going to be back here next week at 8:00. We'll talk about whatever's going on next week. But until then,
Don Lemon gets
good
fired
night, everyone.
and no one gives a shit. That's the headline for the week.
That's the headline. And we have Sam and a new pad. There we go.
There you go.
A fresh pad, shall we say.